Looking at the situation right now along the Thai-Cambodian border, what is your personal observation on the current situation, and why do you think it's escalating to a new level?
Well, very worried, I think, like most Thais. In fact, most people in the region or even in the world, including President Trump, because it is one of the 8 conflicts that he wants to end. So it's very worried that the escalation is still, building up. But of course, within this worry, we see the light at the end of the tunnel. I think the escalation could end quite soon with the role of the US, China, ASEAN, and of course Thailand and Cambodia. But it will be for a while, a few days at least. But we also see the possibility of resumption of negotiations in the new platforms or new venues, especially on the building a longer lasting security areas along the 7 border provinces. I think this is very important on the ground, that you need to build a better, more safer zone. You can call it humanitarian safe zone, you can call it demilitarized zone. This is going to be a new point of negotiation in the next phase. But this phase is almost ending, meaning that if the 2 countries go further than this with a high capacity, using high level of destruction of new weaponry, I think it's going to be difficult to control. And it could expand into a regional wars or proxy wars.
And looking from the international community, how do you see Trump's role in mediating the border tensions between Thailand and Cambodia?
Very complicated, but at times positive, because no one else can do what he's doing. But on the other hand, it is complicated and sometimes potentially becoming destructive, taking side at the interest of geopolitical rivalries. That's one important concern that Southeast Asian nations have in mind all the time. They were subjected to these rivalries, in such a bad way. If Mr. Trump is not careful, he'll face with more resistance on the objective that seems to be very noble, that is to end conflicts, opening up trade, fair, free, and move us to the new era, of relations.
From your perspective, should the US or Malaysia ever step in terms of the mediation between the 2 countries?
Nothing that we can do now. They already stepped in. So the question is, how can we make them to be more progressive, to be more positive? That's going to be a lot of hard work. The U.S. needs to understand much more about this deep sentiment about the land, about the conflict, from the historical legacy point of view. America doesn't understand colonial, legacies as well.
Looking back at Thailand, if you have to assess the performance of the Thai government in dealing with the border tensions with Cambodia, what do you think they have done right or wrong, especially during the past few months?
Well, I think they have learned many lessons. One lesson is unity of the decision-making body or structure. That's very important. In time of crisis, you need to have one clear chain of command, one clear approach. You need to see the end game, end state. You need to have an exit strategy. I think that they now learn that and activate this structure from the top National Security Council to the combined armed forces, different services into one. And they're also trying to manage the civil society capabilities into this conflict. I think that's what they have learned. But of course, there are also yet more lessons to be learned. The way they communicate, you see, to the public, domestically, to the international audience, it's different. To Cambodia in particular, you cannot communicate one way with one formula. That they have not learned. And the mismatching of the communication strategies, not to mention the end state, end game plans, they have to differentiate. Diplomatic team has one place, but cannot lead everything. The military forces can be used on the ground, but not to lead all the way. It is their responsibility of the elected politicians represented by the Thai, of the Thai people, must lead in the end. And that role is difficult for any leadership, which often changes in Thailand. But they're now learning very fast. They have no choice. They must learn and win and bring back victory in whatever form to the Thai public. Otherwise, the next election will not be kind to them.